Okay, here it is.
Dave, hi Dave.
We were getting some reverberation. I was trying to figure out what it was.
Tom Jarrett's on here. He has no video. He just has audio.
Okay, that's fine.
You couldn't hear him before when he was telling you.
Yeah. Are you ready?
I'm ready. We're good.
Gonna call a meeting to order, Executive Park meeting order. I'm sorry about that. We had an internet issue here at FNBF and we got that corrected, so we got a little bit of a late start. We're gonna have a presentation from a person who wants to do a pilot with us. I guess he didn't show up today. So
No.
we don't know.
I spoke with him yesterday, and he wasn't sure if he'd be able to make the meeting because he's in the middle of moving between his old place of business and new place of business.
Okay. Okay. So potential project updates.
Should I take attendance?
Mr. Campbell's here.
Oh, please take attendance. Yes.
Craig Leggett,
Here.
Michael Biddle,
Here.
Brian Campbell,
Here.
Dave O'Brien,
Here.
Kara's here, and Lester is not. Okay, we have a quorum.
Okay. Potential project updates. Jack, you want to talk about yesterday?
Sure.
So you should mute your phone there, Jack.
Yeah, I've got it muted, but I've got the volume all turned on. I don't know what's going on. But
Are you on, Kara?
What?
Are you on, Kara?
On the Zoom meeting? No.
Okay.
What, did you need me to be?
No, we can hear you.
Yeah, update as it relates to activity on the park. Going back, the Jake Kenyon from the Kenyon Pipe Company, he's still on hold. His real estate person has talked to him 2 weeks ago, but we'll take him no more. It's not dead. That same real estate agent said that he has another party that has an interest in the park, and he will know in August as to whether or not we're going to have a project or not.
Which parcel number is that?
I'm sorry.
Kenyans are looking at a different parcel closer to their establishment, not the lot 3, correct?
Yeah, they were actually looking at 3 lots that are in the elbow of the road.
Yep.
That's across from the shavings place. So they were planning on taking and actually putting up a building, and things were going along gangbusters until the pandemic hit. And the last time that the chairman and I had a talk with him was like the day after the governor had put a pause on everything. But I've been in touch with the real estate agent every month or so, and that was the latest that he told me this morning. So they no longer have an interest in lot 3, but have and what we needed to have, which I think that we're going to talk about later, is information is related to the wetland delineation for that part of the property. And I have no idea as to even the kind of business that this other prospect has. It's still apparently still cloaked in some kind of confidentiality, but we'll know later. As late as yesterday, there's been another project that's come forth that came through from EDC Warren County, John Wheatley, that is interested now in lot 3. And the chairman and I and John and the 2 representatives from the client spoke yesterday, 1 o'clock, in a conference call. I had worked with these people before the pandemic. At that time, they wanted to be closer to the North Bay, so we were looking at other property. So I got a good background and know about these people. It's a well-established company in the general eastern part of New York State. Put together, and Mr. Chairman, did you receive this morning the draft contract that I sent out.
I saw it go at 3:33 a.m.
I would have done it earlier, but I took a nap when I got back from Plattsburgh and couldn't go to sleep. So I many times worked, so, but anyways,
They're pretty positive. They're ready almost. If I could have sat in front of them with a contract, I probably would have signed it yesterday.
well, and they probably would have been here today if we had invited them. So, I think that, as soon as we do get a contract in, it has been our practice that we run those people through this committee, then onto the full IDA, because we're at a point where they've got to go to the Town of Kingsbury Planning Board, et cetera. I would request that we take and send documentation, and the chairman said that we could have a special Zoom meeting of this committee. I'd like to be able to introduce them to the full group at the next meeting. And they also indicated this is a project that they would qualify also for the other benefits that the IDA would have. And we'll get
The pilots and.
the sales tax and the mortgage tax. And we can take and get to the members a link to their website so you can take and see who they are. So that's basically what activity I've been involved with.
Okay.
I'll be happy to answer any questions that anyone has.
Good. Any questions? For the park, thank you, Jack. For the park, we have the delineation issues. We resubmitted out for bid. We got 3 proposals in. And looking at them, I'll ask a question. I got a call last night from Chazen Group, who unfortunately didn't get the proposal in time. And she was curious whether we could extend it and let them submit. But I told her that I couldn't give her that answer. It would be up to the board to make that decision. So we want to wait and have another bid. Yes, Michael.
I'd like to make a motion to extend to Chazen, which has always been a good partner to this community, to at least bid on this project.
I will say that if we're going to do this, we are going to extend it. You have a second on that?
I'll second.
Seconded by Craig. I will say that if they do, we'll have to find out if they get it in time, so we'll be able to review this at our next board meeting, because we have to get this going.
Mm-hmm.
We have numerous people waiting for getting that. Like he said, the lot 3 will probably need some of that, so as soon as we get it started, so I will,
Dave,
yes, Brian.
so where are we at? The other ones aren't already in, are they? Or,
They're here.
but we haven't opened them, so we don't know what they are.
They've been opened, yes.
I scanned them all in yesterday, and I'll be
Just-
sending it to all the board members to review prior to the board meeting.
Yeah, but this was sealed bid now? How did
It
we
was
get it?
RFP. So I'm not sure what our procurement
Well,
policy.
How do you, I don't know how you extend it after you got all the other ones in. I'm trying to understand that. I don't know how fair that is.
I think you'd have to open it up to the whole public again, and not just Chazen.
Well, you might be able to do that, but I mean, you can't release any of this information until you've heard from Chasen, because then Chasen knows what they did, what their RFP was.
We're not
Right,
releasing
we haven't
any.
discussed any of the other things.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We can't release any of that. You said they're already open. I would,
Let's be frank here. If anyone asks us for this information, we know we have these RFPs. If anyone asks for this information, we have to release that information under public law. Remember that.
yeah, but you can't release them until everybody's in. I don't think that's fair to the other people who have already put their numbers in.
It's law, though.
Well, then we shouldn't extend it, because I don't think that's fair.
Okay, how many RFPs have responded?
We got 3.
We do have 3.
So how come they didn't get it in time?
I'll explain that.
The list that I received had a different address, and that's the address that I sent the RFP to for Chazen, and it came back to me, which took up a lot of time. And then when I Googled it, I found their real address and immediately sent out the RFP. But at that point, 2 weeks had gone by already, and they missed more opportunity than the rest.
So we had the old Glens Falls Chazen address. They
Mhm.
moved about a year ago. So this,
Was-
to my point,
But
on this isn't Chazen's fault.
No, I get that, but how do we be fair to the people that have already submitted? We can't release them until
We would-
Jason's comes in.
We would have to rebid this.
You didn't get it as a public bid, right? You reached out to them for proposals.
Correct.
You didn't put an ad out to make it to the general public, right? So you just reached out for proposals. You'd have to reach out to all those parties and indicate that you've extended the deadline
Okay,
and see if they would like to
Resubmit.
resubmit.
or if they're happy with what they have. I guess I just want to be
I mean,
fair.
it's a professional service, so you don't, by law, you're not required to go out at all.
Nick?
Thank you. Just as like the outsiders of the executive committee, given the publicity we're also already getting under, again, I would suggest what is the rule of the law? Do it by that and nothing else. Period. Don't try to be nice. Do it how the law says. If it wasn't our fault, then let's go. If it was, then rebid.
Thanks, Nick.
What's the board want to do? They want to rebid it?
We just put it on the floor to, oh, you're saying,
Well,
we put on the
we
floor
can
to
extend
extend.
it. We need to rebid the whole thing.
It's not technically a bid,
No,
so it's not rebid.
I think Kara stated it right. We asked them if I guess we would need a motion to extend the deadline and at that same time allow everyone, make everyone else aware that we've extended the deadline and ask if they want to submit anything different from what they submitted already. I think you just have to be fair about it. That's all I'm worried about.
we all want to be fair.
Well, I think that's true, and that was my concern.
Yeah, because you didn't bid this as a sealed bid.
Right. See, that's what I wasn't aware of.
That's not how it was put out.
So would it just be the 3 companies that have responded that would get,
They get the same,
You
it would be all
reach out to
10 of
all
them?
the-
Okay.
All the parties you originally reached out to and indicate that there's been an extension.
Okay.
If they'd like to resubmit.
and that is as if we pass it. We have
And there is a time issue on this. We were already 3 months late in getting this started.
Right. The
We
20th,
got properties we can't sell until such point as get the donation done.
so the 20th is the meeting. All the information should go out to the full board when? On
Should go-
15th or
should
the
go out.
13th?
15th, I think.
Yeah.
That's 15th.
A week from today.
Is that doable?
The challenge I'm having is this wasn't Jason's fault.
No, I agree, but I have no problem. I would extend it. I think you're right. I just want to do it right. That's all.
We all want to do it
So,
right.
Yep.
so if we send out letters today, they'll have them Friday. They have 3 days to turn around to get it. They got 1 day to turn around to get back to us. Or if they want to hand deliver,
Yeah, but you can send an email instantly and still send the letter.
do we have email addresses?
You must have.
I can look 'em- I mean, they're all companies. They should have an email.
You have a contact at Chazen, right?
Mhm.
So I'm not trying to single them out with everybody else. I want everybody to be notified.
Will an email work?
Remembering when you send this out, I know we're gonna ask for these RFPs.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'd like a clarification on that particular issue with the attorney.
Yeah, that's what I'd like.
My understanding is that if information is brought in subject to contract negotiations, that information is not available until after the
Until all of them are in.
contract has been signed.
Right.
And then if parties that lost want to get copies of the results, but until that point, it was my understanding. But I'm treading into an area that I'm not an expert in, so.
So I'm looking up that exact language, because that's always a point of,
Contention.
yeah.
Of course, what does it take? You can respond in 30 days to an RFP request, and if you take and have your response in before that period of time, you can be covered there too.
Well, you get 5 business days to respond, and if you need additional time, you get 20 business days.
I think it's only fair to everybody that you don't release it in those particular
That's,
situations.
okay. That's what I was trying to get, Jack. Thank you.
Okay, so this, I think you could withhold them under this if disclosed would impair present or imminent contract awards. If you're gonna be awarding a
Perfect.
contract for them.
So they have to be delivered to the office by, we'll have to notify these people, have to be delivered to the office by the 15th, so we can provide them to our board for analysis.
Kara, would an email work? Or does it need to be a letter then mailed?
I would say if they acknowledge receipt of the email.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't know how you're gonna,
Well,
if they don't acknowledge, I guess you still have to send out, you know what I mean? And you've got like a time crunch.
all I'm saying is if you sent the letters today and sent the email today, the email lets them
Would
know
get
that,
there quick.
that the letter's coming.
So, yeah.
but they also already know they can go to work on it because they got till that day. I guess I would do both, so I was covered.
Yeah.
But the email gives them extra 2 or 3 days that they might need, and that way they can make the 15th. I guess that's where my concern is.
Absolutely.
And so just to clarify, I do send it to the people who have already responded in case they want to change.
Yeah, send it all the time.
Got it.
Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, just a point of order if I can, does the motion and the second need to be amended that's on the table?
Yeah, 'cause I don't remember what it was now.
So you need
To extend the
provide-
deadline.
you need to provide a motion. The motion needs to be to extend the time for this,
For everybody, yeah.
for everybody.
Okay. So are you gonna withdraw, my friend?
Withdraw.
And I will withdraw and I will restate that I would like to extend, the RFP date, due up to what, Ally? What's the new due date?
Yeah, we would need it by the 15th.
Due to incorporate one person who didn't submit.
And that all, parties that we reached out to originally need to be reinformed that we're, extending this by email. They'll be reinformed by email and USPS. And I submit that for a motion.
Should it be by end of day on the 14th?
Yes. Which is what, Tuesday?
Yeah.
Okay. You got a motion in a second?
Sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye.
You're opposed?
I'm opposed.
No, that's fair. I just want to make sure.
It's not fair to people. I understand that. Okay. So we won't have a discussion on the policy. Anything else that you have, Tom Jarrett?
No, I don't have anything to add. I did start looking at the three proposals we got. And I forwarded some comments from Deb to you this morning, Dave.
I saw those. Thank you.
And, well, I can weigh in at some point, but I'll wait now and see if anybody else responds.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay, next on the agenda. Anything else from the park? Okay, Next.
If you don't mind, I'll jump off because I gotta head to another meeting.
okay. Good luck, Tom. Thanks.
Guys.
Dewatering land road purchase update. So, pardon?
Approval of minutes.
Approve minutes. I need to approve, a motion to approve minutes for June 3rd, 2020. Need a motion, please?
Yeah, I wasn't present.
Yeah, if it wasn't, I don't know which meeting I've been to or not to, so I don't really want to make a motion if I wasn't there.
How's that work when you're not present?
I don't agree with it. I don't think it's fair to other people.
What?
I'm just teasing. Thank you, Jack.
What's the rule, Carol?
Well, if people don't want to make a motion because they weren't at the meeting, then they don't.
You can make a motion, I can second.
If they're,
Yeah, I just don't think I was there and I didn't want to. How do I approve minutes when I
I'll make
wasn't
a
there?
motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll second it.
And I know I looked at them because I responded to
Mr.
your
Wild
emails.
Mr. Wild wasn't there, was he? You don't have to be-
I know I caught Health for
I don't
Skipping
have-
one, and I think that's the one.
Yeah.
It was at 4:00, wasn't it? Last,
No,
The last executive park meeting?
it was at
It was
9.
at 9.
Okay, then
I
I
had
had
a
it on my
doctor's appointment,
calendar
damn
at
it.
4. And so when I checked in, meeting had ended. So
Okay.
that's why I
Um,
wasn't there.
I mean, if there's not a approval, I would just defer.
Well, if they
to the
make the
next
motion and
meeting.
second, we can say aye. I just,
Right.
we don't have a problem with that. I just didn't think I should make the motion not being there.
I made a
Yeah, okay.
motion,
Mike Wild was there.
Chairman O'Brien,
All
seconded it.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Carrie,
You gonna say opposed?
opposed?
Aye. Okay, I'm done. I'm done playing.
Point of order.
Yeah.
Motion cannot say no.
Is that true?
The second.
Okay, motions are done. Dewatering land road purchase update. Tonight is the planning board with Fort Edward, Fort WL. There is tonight, hopefully get the negative declaration on the seeker so we can move forward. After that, we have zoning board of appeals next week, and we then have site plan approval, either on the 16th or the 22nd. That date hasn't been done. The unfortunate part of this is that the governor has extended the statute of limitations, which means after the variances are approved and site plans approved, there's a 30-day window. We were hoping to start after the last meeting. It can't start until at least 6/6 until this governor gets done there.
So August 6th.
And that's under Article 78.
That's under article, I guess so. So we can't close until such point as we have the statute of limitations cleared.
Statute of limitations for what?
This is the WL's council advice to their client, WL. So, they're recommending that, following the issuance or adoption of a neg deck by the planning board, there would be a 30-day window for a person with proper standing to be able to challenge that determination.
Okay.
After that 30 days runs, then that challenge can't be brought any longer. So their recommendation to their client is in part of, look, we have this 30-day window, somebody could bring a lawsuit and hold up your project to like move forward with construction, et cetera, et cetera. So their advice is to wait for the 30 days to run before they proceed. The issue that we have is that the tolling of the statute of limitations is told every time the governor extends the executive order that there's an emergency in effect. So the same order that allows for public meetings to be by Zoom, all those things are kind of on the same.
Okay.
So he's extended it again at least till August 5th. So then on August 5th, if it doesn't get extended again, then that 30 days would start to run on August 5th.
It would start at that point.
Right. Statute of limitations for all matters across the state. I talked to their attorney yesterday about, I said, because we had talked previously, and he said, I didn't see anything yet, and then it came over like later in the evening, I think.
1201.
I'm sorry?
1201.
Yeah, it came in the evening where the executive order was released. So in the morning, he said he was going to do some more additional research. Like I said, that's the advice from counsel to their client. It's not I just want to make sure, I don't want to confuse it with like a legal requirement.
Okay.
That's their advice, that they don't proceed until that's done.
Okay. In conjunction with that, I got a request from WL Plastics. They would like to revisit the pilot. They give the reasons that, with your assistance, WL Plastics working diligently with the WWIDA and many other authorities in an effort to acquire and redevelop the former GE dewatering facility in Fort Edward, New York. Key among the elements that made Fort Edward the final choice of our site selection process was the offer of the pilot tax incentive program as part of the total incentive package for locating in this region of New York. Since that initial site selection and subsequent award of the pilot to WL Plastics, there has been many issues that have impacted both the timing and economics of the project, particularly the intricacies of the road ownership and access that had to be resolved with the EPA, Canal Corp, and others. Determination of the condition and long-term viability of the project on Lock 8 Way and related town dedication matters. Requisite zoning board, planning board, and associated public hearings are required to obtain easements and variances necessary for the successful implementation of project site plan and the commencement of construction activity. COVID-19 effect on all activities listed above and the related extension of anticipated schedule, including delays and statute of limitations processes. All of these issues have contributed to substantial delays in our original timeline and have resulted in significant additional expense. Therefore, WL Plastics is requesting that we revisit and renegotiate the terms of the pilot program with respect to both economics and schedule.
Okay.
So that's a thing. We have not had a conversation with them yet. I think right now we're waiting to make sure that the negative deck takes place, everything else takes place, and we are ready to discuss these issues. So right now they're in a holding pattern pending the approval of the seeker and everything else. And of course, that also gets into additional costs involved in the sale of the property and how that's going to be covered. So it's not the sale of property, it is the proration of taxes and the amount due from past due taxes, which that sum is right around $1 million. So we'll talk about that and we'll revisit that with them. Land purchase update, we did get the deed to the road, as you did know. The properties from WCC, we've got to wait till subdivision takes place to complete those. Hopefully that will take place the next couple weeks, I'm sorry. That will be cleared. We did get the deed to that triangle piece of Canal Corp is. As we talked about before, that's about $10,000 that we spent. It's about $3,800 or $3,200 the check we have to write to them, and $4,800 for the survey. No, $4,800 for the appraisal. It was $1,500 fee because they already done all the survey work. They just had to prepare the survey.
Okay,
So that was $1,500. So that's there.
so it's a 3 combined,
It's a 3 combined. So I would like to have
that's 95, right? 9,500.
something like that. 9,500. I didn't do the math in my head. I just got sticker shock still.
No kidding.
So I would like to have an attorney-client after this meeting to discuss this for a minute. So that's what it's not just the road, it's a couple other things that have come up.
Is that just you and Kara, or is that all of them?
It's all of us and
Okay,
it's all of us, and Nick, I will have to fill you in later. Okay?
Why?
Pardon?
Why?
Well, because we don't know who else is on the Zoom meeting.
Oh,
You and
you
who?
can't tell.
Nick,
yeah, we can tell.
Okay, we'll check that to make sure.
We'll keep you in that.
Well, I don't want to screw up anything, but that's the only reason I stayed on.
Yeah. Oh, come on, give me a break.
I understand completely.
Okay? So see, yes,
Go back just one or two items. If this fact that the executive order is potentially increasing the cost of the project, maybe even touch by saying jeopardizing it. Is it in order for the IDA to notify Empire State Development that they wish to, I mean, if the governor, you see these executive orders, there's all kinds of stuff that's put in there. He can accept particular action by the town board, planning board, it's not being covered under the exemption.
I would like to get through tonight
Okay.
and tomorrow.
That's a good point though, Jack.
Okay, so I did have call Mike Evelyn on my mind, because he's the one who go through it, and I think maybe Mike can join me on the call too.
That's a good idea.
So we'll see. So anyhow, that'd be great. So we'll wait till after today and figure out what's going on. Just make sure we've cleared the big hurdle. Okay, anything else? I don't have anything else on that. Still a few odds and ends, but we are clearing the issues with WCC. We have agreements in principle. We just need to do the work. Carrie's been too busy to get that done, so hopefully after tomorrow she can re-engage in that. Recapture updates. Let's update captures. Recaptures.
We got, actually that's under new business, what I want to say about Fire Tech. We got the $95 payment that they had paid, that they were due. And we're looking to, I guess the board needs to make a resolution. Actually, is it the executive part that needs to do it or the full board?
No, it's the full board.
Full board.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So we will be having a resolution for us to be able to pay that and get them all squared away.
Then we also had Morris.
They have resubmitted, amended SC 340s that brings them below. They indicated that they believe when they did their final submission that they added up all the years rather than just did for that particular year. So they've amended. I've asked them for the transmittal, the tax and finance, and I don't believe I've received that yet. Have you?
No,
gotten
I
that?
haven't.
Okay.
No.
So, the important piece is that they filed with tax and finance, their amendment. So
So they're in compliance
they're in compliance.
as long as they submit it to them.
Right. LG Plaza, I spoke with Mike O'Connor. He had indicated that he thought, our numbers were wrong. I said to him that our numbers were based only on the documents that we received. So I sent him everything and have not yet heard back from him.
You sent him everything that we had?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I sent him copies of all the documents and, how we arrived at the numbers that we had in our letter to
Okay.
LG Plaza. So I'll follow up with him and see if he's had any further review with his client on that.
Okay. But the other Market 2, we figure out they were.
Market 32 is good. They were
Yeah.
under based on what they submitted.
So the only outstanding one we have
There's
is
also
LG Plaza.
Plaza, and they're working on that.
Right.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Nothing else in the recapture. Solar pilots. We started talking about solar pilots. We have not come to a point where we decided to do solar pilots. We are still in the engaged stage. We're still looking at that information. And I guess I still have a lot of questions. I need a lot of knowledge. I think that the County Board of Finance Board has asked for an update and to talk about solar pilots. And the only thing we talk about is that based on what we are doing the first part of it. We have not even taken an application. We have not extended off to any solar company to make an application. We are simply doing our research so we understand it. And one of the things that came up is what is the process? Does our authorization by the state under, Article 862, does that authorize us to do solar pilots as economic development?
It does not specifically reference renewable energy, solar projects, or anything. It doesn't have those buzzwords in it. Other IDAs have taken the approach that this furthers economic development within their region. It provides businesses with other renewable energy options, that it goes and supports the New York's initiative on renewable energy. And so those are the basis that other IDAs have relied upon. But if you wanted me to point you to a specific statute that authorizes this, that is not listed in that list in the statute.
So part of what we have to do a solar pilot, we have to make a decision if you want to attempt the policy.
Correct.
We draft the policy. We would have to do something to our bylaws
you would need to amend your uniform tax exempt policy.
Unit tax exempt policy. Okay. Now, I'm still a little foggy, and I think Allie's gonna look this up, is based in 1999, for some reason, the IDA put our tax exempt policy out to all 17 towns in Washington County, and I don't know how many towns are in Warren County. Does anyone know that number? 21?
No, 11 plus the city.
11 plus the city. Okay, I'm the county supervisor.
Well,
It was 23.
23. Okay, so I don't know why they did that. Do you have any indication why they did that? Are we required to do that?
The law does not require you to get any approvals from anyone with respect to what your uniform tax exempt policy looks like. I actually reached out to Bob because I didn't have any historical knowledge either on where that came from. He had indicated to me that he thought it was around that time frame in '99 when the IDA was, I don't know if they were redoing their policy, but that Washington County, several municipalities were not in support of it. And for whatever reason, the IDA gave the municipalities all an opportunity to get like an opt-out, so that we would have to then go to that municipality in particular if there was a pilot before the IDA to get the pre-approval of that municipality if they'd opted out. I don't know that there was any agreement in place at the time. I couldn't, he didn't think that there was any sort of formal agreement, but it was that there was a real, okay, I guess for lack of a better word, lack of support with respect to the pilot program that the IDAs had the authority under the law. And it kind of, I suppose, made it work a little bit more streamlined if the municipalities were able to have this opt out. I don't know who the board members were at that time, if that had anything, if there was anything there, I was on the board at that time, but that appears to be the I guess, where this started from, the opt out to the municipalities.
3 questions, Dave.
Only
Yeah,
three?
well, 3. First of all, are there any Warren County towns that opted out, or was that not on the table?
Stony Creek, Horicon, and one more.
Okay, so it was all, both counties it was
every
offered.
municipality in both.
Okay. Second of all, more than likely it was to get buy-in. Probably there was enough weighted vote to stop the whole thing and not do it if they didn't do
Well,
it.
there was nothing on the county level to approve. So I don't know if maybe
Oh, that's interesting.
because the IDA is created by statute by New York law. The members serve at the pleasure of the county board of supervisors. So perhaps there was something there that, we won't reappoint. I don't know.
There's always something there.
I have no idea.
Okay, so the last question is, because this is part of the state's, I guess I'm gonna call it the Go Green Initiative, is that where we're really at? If that is the case, and half of our area in the 2 counties, more than likely, I don't know for sure, is in the Adirondack Park, why are solar arrays not allowed in the Adirondack Park when it's supposed to be about the environment and Go Green is about saving the environment? Where does that all tie together?
I believe that they are allowed in
They
the
are
park. They just have to go through more rigorous,
Well, they should have to go through less because it's about saving the world and saving the environment. But but there are none currently in the Adirondack Park. Is that the case?
no, there are.
There are some in the, okay, I was under the impression there were none in the Adirondack
It's
Park.
Mr. Chairman, it's my understanding that the Adirondack North Country Association, ANCA, has been promoting that, but I've attended several of their park-wide seminars that they've had. And while I don't believe that there may be any in Warren County, I can be corrected, but there's areas in the park that are on the northern slope that have participated, maybe like Saranac Lake and Cover Lake and those areas.
So does Forever Wild stop that?
Clouds. It's a lot cloudier in the Adirondacks than out here in Washington.
No, I'm just saying though, is the different designations not allow it? Do we know that? If you have an area that's forever wild, I can't imagine they let you put a solar array in the middle of
Correct. For a while.
it. See, so, but that's, because they call it forever wild doesn't make it any better for the environment to not have it. I'm just betwixt and between here on what their initiative really says.
Again, I think that the park agency law was adopted in the 72, 73 area. And similar to the IDA law where it's silent on, solar farms,
Yeah.
photovoltaic, I believe that's the case also. But they do have, on their website, a policy statement as it relates to doing,
Okay.
solar in the park.
Okay, because I just know that we have 3 towns in the county that are involved in the park. I think there's 3, maybe 4. And I know Warren County has quite a few too, and it just seems like we're limited if they're not allowed in the park. But if they are, that's a whole different deal. You're just saying Warren County doesn't have to have any yet in the park.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
I mean, but my knowledge is somewhat limited to what I read.
Well, no, mine is. Okay,
Okay.
asking the question.
Adirondack Park Agency Procedures and Guidelines System, Agency 7, Policy on Renewable Energy Production and Energy Supply in Adirondack Park. Wise use, background, so they have a policy on it here. Which talks about the climate, energy plan, Public Service Commission.
Probably the lack of 3-phase power too probably preempts a lot of the area in Warren County in that region.
Yeah, so the policy is intended to ensure that the APA embraces New York State energy plan while balancing any development with APA Act mandates, and it goes on.
So we're probably just kept out by the phase 3 energy, the 3-phase. There's probably not a lot of 3-phase right there in that part of Warren County. The part that's in the park. Because 3-phase is usually for manufacturing, and a lot of that's not allowed in the park. So I'm just
No,
guessing.
we have a lot of 3-phase.
Do you have a lot of 3-phase?
Hospitals,
Yeah.
medical facilities.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, the power company.
So there's some opportunity there.
The sawmill down the road, for me, the
Okay.
medical marijuana, Peckham's
Peckham's,
Street.
okay.
Oh my gosh, yeah, there's a lot of 3-phase.
Very good. That's good knowledge because if that would just
A lot of
preempt some
stores,
of
the
the
big
stuff.
stores have 3-phase on it.
What does?
Stores,
Big stores.
refrigeration. Chester Town Hall, 3-phase.
Yeah.
Plus the power company, as they rebuild the distribution system, that's the wooden poles, they're going now to 3-phase. And the reason for that is previously in these rural areas, when you have just 1 phase, there wasn't that much load. But as more second homes and regular homes, that by just adding 1 more wire, you're able to increase by 3 times your load capacity in that
Okay.
particular area. So
That's good information as far as economic development and the way we work. Good. Thank
So,
you.
another question, because I think this is gonna come up. We have 6 towns that opted out when we put that in there. What happens if another town says we want to opt out at this point?
So they can do it anytime.
I don't know, I'm asking the question.
When I spoke to Bob yesterday, or yeah, I guess it was yesterday, or the day before, he, I explained to him what I anticipate as coming up with this, to just try to go through some of the possibilities. He's of the opinion that the way it was done previously, it would be okay for you to go ahead and make an amendment without getting any of the opt-in, without taking that into consideration. I know that the county is possibly looking for, if there was some agreement done at that time, we don't have any record of any formal agreement was entered into between either the IDA and the counties or the IDA and the municipalities. It was just that those particular municipalities wanted an opportunity to either approve at the outset. So I think this would be a decision that, that you guys would have to come to make as to whether, what your level of comfort is with respect to any of these items with respect
So-
to UTAP.
Any town, any project we have to have a public hearing.
Right.
So we give an opportunity for people to express their opinions. Would it be the village, would it be a board member, would it be public, would it be someone from Timbuktu to express their opinion and their option. So we do take that consideration. So, but our charter comes from the state,
Correct.
not from the county. We're not a county agency.
Correct.
The only role that the counties have is to appoint members for the IDA.
Correct.
So I know it's gonna happen, I just, there's just people were concerned that we were even considering doing a solar pilot. They can't consider, they don't know why it's under our purview and they object to it and stuff like that. And they say, I still don't know whether it's a good idea or a bad idea. I do know that our economic development coordinator in Washington County strongly recommends that we do a pilot. We do a pilot across the county because the state's gonna start getting involved in this. And you don't wanna be discussing things with 17 different towns when you have one policy. So, and she can talk about it clearer than I can.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just quickly to summarize what I understand the enabling legislation was, and might have council either concur or add, is that when you are creating your standard policy, or if you should do a deviation from that policy, which you can do, your only obligation is to send specific notifications to each one of the taxing entities that you're doing it. Once the policy is put into place, you can just proceed forth. I mean, as a courtesy, I think you notify the taxing entity, but that's not something that's necessary. One thing, just from an observation from my standpoint, if the standard policy was created in 1999,
I guess that's when this
I think
found
it's,
out thing happened.
I think it's time is due to reconsider, readopting your set of standard policies. I know that in zoning issues and stuff like that, that if something's more than 10 years old, it could be considered being outdated, but time has changed since 1999, and you may want to have a committee to review what your overall policies are. And at that time, incorporate something for solar and maybe wind and hydro,
Renewable
and other
energy,
kinds of stuff.
And I did send out an article yesterday that said that some of the stuff is considered personal property by a court case with Cornell. Now, it's come to find out, there's always more information. And one thing Laura Chadwick found when she was talking to a guy named John Sikowski, who does a lot of this stuff out in Rochester regarding pilots and assessment for solar, is that it's only considered personal property if the site is going to be decommissioned in 25 years. And that is removed. So his input is that's the only time when it's considered personal property. Not it's going to be there forever.
That's kind of the way I read it last night, and that's kind of the way I saw it. Without that there, that doesn't apply. So that either has to be in the agreement or
Correct.
or it doesn't work that way.
Correct.
Yeah, that's,
So solar pilots, more to be determined. People want us to tell. I think Brian was asked to have us explain what we're going to do with solar pilots. I don't know. I don't have any information to give them. All I can say, if they want to discuss the policy of the ID board and what we're doing, we have our open meeting. Come talk to us. Come listen to our meetings. You're more than welcome to have your input. We'll listen to everyone.
so where you were though was very interesting because you had a good point. If they opted out at the time, is that an open thing that you can opt out at any time? Is there a time where?
So we would be saying if that's something that you wanted to do away with, we would suggest that you make any amendments that you want to your uniform tax exempt policy, and then indicate that at this time, you're not gonna have an opt-out option.
Yeah, well, I think that would be bad timing right now because that would.
So we need to go a while to put it together anyway.
Yeah, but that's not something you'd want to do at the same time you're talking about solar. If there's people that are not happy because they didn't think you were doing that to them.
Is your current policies that are published and posted on the website
Yes.
have a clause in there that says that the following communities are not part of the participation?
There's not a provision in the actual UTEP, but there is a formal list of
Appendix.
Towns that have voted down, yeah.
municipalities. Yeah.
I read them at 3:00 this morning when you were working on it.
Oh, you were, well, you should have taken,
So-
sent a text message.
I mean, the other thing that came up was that in this solar thing that went out was that they included the fees for the IDA. Well, the fees for the IDA are right on our website. They're standard. And, you know, we don't receive any income from any counties. We don't receive income from any towns. We don't receive income from the state. The fees are what allow us to, I'll give the example. If we look at the industrial park over on Queensberry Avenue and out that area in Casey Drive and Park Avenue, there's hundreds of millions of dollars worth of assessed value over there that was created by the IDA using these fees. Our fees pay about $40,000 in special district taxes on property the IDA owns. It pays our living, working, or on ongoing expenses. It pays for our investing in the union, and it pays for our investment in our properties in the counties. There's no one here paid. The only one paid in the whole IDA is Ally. And so, look at that. So
Oh, yeah.
those fees are for our operations. Regardless of whether or not they put them on this, that's what we do.
Right.
Everything we do is plain and simple. It's all addressed in our policies. It's all addressed online. So if we charge a fee, that fee is consistent with most IDAs that I've seen across the state. In some cases, some a little less, some a little more. But they're right in the parameters that we do. But if we don't have fees for a project, which some years we have 0 projects and we use our savings. Other years we have banner years. This just seems to be with this size pilot that the percentage is like 0.75% for the first 10 million, and then it goes down after that. You know, it just happens that this will be banner year for us that we haven't had in probably 10 years. So, but we've done stuff for Fort Hudson Headwaters, not Hudson, Fort Hudson. We just released our mortgage on that. So we have fees other than the initial part of it all the way through it. We own the properties in some cases, we lease the properties. That comes with overhead to the IDA because we have to manage all those things for the 10 years and do our business operations for 20 years in some cases. We've done things for ACC, we've done things for the hospital. We've done a lot of good things for the hospital on those fees. And that allowed us to invest in the community, and anyone is more than welcome to look at our books because they're online and they will see where the money goes and where the money's been invested. So, and look at the investment. That's the IDA's job, is to invest back in the community. So,
Chairman, I think another key point is the fact that these fees are uniform
Mhm.
and they're the same. And past precedents, I don't believe you waived the fees.
No.
I don't believe
Good point.
I mean,
Very good.
just because the comment was made is that was put in there as consent for the IDA. No, they were simply taking the IDA's own information and putting it on the form. There's no secret to it. So, anyhow, that's enough. Anything else in solar pilots? More to come. Project annual fee. Every year we're responsible for collecting the taxes. In some cases, we're chasing the heck out of people to get our money. We've talked about this before about having a project annual fee that every project pays to us to cover our costs for issuing the bills, collecting the bills, coordinating with the towns, municipalities to make sure we have the right amounts in there.
Some we put in escrow too, right?
I don't know if we have any escrow anymore.
I thought we just put one in escrow.
Oh, no. Yes, you're right. I think it was ICC maybe?
No,
North Country.
North Country, they're doing escrow so the bank pays us.
right.
Their lender does it.
Right, the lender-
So are we
lender does
gonna,
escrow.
but we could push that going forward too, wouldn't prevent some of this if that was our choice. I don't know if it is our choice, but I meant,
Right, but even if it's an escrow, we still are doing the work to handle them.
I'm still billing the
You're
banks.
still billing the banks.
Okay.
Just still trying to collect from people who do reminders and stuff
Okay,
like
I
that.
was thinking you were worried about the ones that weren't getting paid on time. You're just saying the
Oh,
actual
no.
cost of getting that done. Okay.
Yeah.
I understand.
So I would suggest if you bring it to the board, I don't know, what do you think is a fair fee? Ally, you know how many hours you have involved in it? Postage, everything
I
else?
actually, I can't remember which IDA I was looking at. They charge $1,500 a year.
To who? Not each person?
To all of the projects for maintaining their administrative side of the project.
What are we charging now?
Nothing.
Nothing. It seems a little steep to start with, but maybe not.
No, I'm just saying that's what they did. I'll have to look at my email and see specifically which IDA that was.
Isn't this covered in our upfront fees that we were just talking about?
It might be. That I don't know.
Or shouldn't it be? Or I'm just putting it out.
Yeah, because that just seems
I
awful
just-
to throw something extra on.
I think there should be a penalty for people that, and now I'm taking a little different tack.
You
I'm
can't
saying
do
that,
penalty.
Huh?
The penalty comes from the community, right?
Oh,
From
probably.
the county.
Or the
You're right.
This
town
will
or
cover
state.
your
Any-
administrative
Right.
efforts.
How
throughout
many-
the course of the year.
How many
right,
different entities are we involved with? Or companies are we involved with?
Well, I just want to just comment, I don't know the answer to that question exactly,
Not
but I think it's going to be a little tricky maybe to require this retroactively.
That's-
Some companies might comply, some companies might say, you don't have to, we already entered it in our agreement, we already have all of our documents.
Yeah,
I mean, going forward, this is something that could definitely be written into your fee schedule.
pleasure of the board. I mean,
I mean, some IDAs have fees for everything. You come, you want the IDA to sign onto a mortgage that they're using for additional collateral, there's a fee for that. They want to refinance their loan, there's a fee for that. Right now, what you're doing, you're only charging the company for the legal fees involved in those requests. Sales tax extension, those types of things.
okay, but I go back to, we have an initial fee. We just spoke about it for the solar.
we have initial fee, yes. We have an application fee plus we have initial fee.
and you're saying why doesn't that cover all of it?
Application fee.
We do have an application fee, correct. We do have an initial fee that they pay up front as a
Mhm.
percent of the total pilot,
Mhm.
correct? Are we, I'd rather ask questions than make statements. Why is this coming up? That'll help me put my arms around what we're trying to achieve.
From my perspective, I think watching how much time and effort is put into some of these. You know, some pay the bills right away. Others, we have to spend a lot of energy on to get.
Okay, that makes sense to me. Then I go to why penalize the people that are behaving.
That are doing it on time.
So is there a way, is there a question, is there a way to penalize the people that aren't being good partners?
Right, do we have that ability to penalize for that? I don't,
Because I'm
that I
open
don't
to what
know.
you're saying, because I see the amount of time that Alex spends on this, chasing and making phone calls and all that, but I don't want to de-incentive, whatever. I don't want to hurt the people that are behaving.
Like some IDAs have a fee if your documentation isn't in on time.
That I can.
So that, but that only applies really to the SC 340s, their job numbers, etc. So the time that Ally would have to go chasing them if you don't get it within like the waiving period or whatnot, or in on time, then there's a penalty for that. Your penalties on pilot late payments, those are set by statute, and those go to the, to the count, those go to the taxing jurisdiction, those penalties.
We're allowed to set a percentage, but how can we set a percentage when the community is doing the penalty too?
Is there another way to solve this?
Those are good questions, Mike.
One way of doing it is when we get the initial fee, that comes through, there's a set aside, that's called an escrow, that covers the maintenance of the account over the number of years, so that we would have
Yeah.
our own reserve account that would pay
But then
our
you're-
administrative fees.
But then you're making everyone pay that. Good behavior, bad behavior, they're all paying it, so there's a pool there to pay for the bad behavior. Is how that works, basically, right?
Well, everybody pays the same fee.
Right,
You know,
so everybody pays the
10%.
same thing, so you're trying to get enough set aside for the bad behavior that's coming.
It's our,
Well, would they
it's our
get-
own internal. account.
Yes,
Would they get that back? Say there was a good project that didn't have any.
No.
Oh.
No, we just, let's say we got $50,000 from a project and we take, 10% of that and put 5,000 aside into our administrative line item. And,
so just an internal mechanism to cover that, is what you're saying.
right.
So for now, we just wanna hold off.
Well, no,
It's a great
I don't
discussion.
think I'm educated enough on what is our recourse when someone's late.
Nothing.
Right. Okay, that.
And what can it be, I guess, is the question. What ability do we have to,
What are our
impose a
options on
penalty, yeah.
recourse? What are our options on?
do we have a legal ability to impose anything?
You have if they are not in compliance with submitting their documentation or paying or whatever on time, then they're in violation of the agreement. Then you have the ability to review the project, put it on the agenda for termination, recapture, one of those items.
But anything that's set already
nothing
goes back to the
monetary.
taxing
You have no-
jurisdiction, so we
You have
don't
no
get any of
monetary
that.
ability right now.
So it's really all or Old Testament.
Yeah.
All or not.
Like I said, right now, any new inducements that take place to the future, can you apply a?
Well, I think that's what she
3%
said originally.
But I think that's what you guys are discussing.
And that's what you said originally, was you could add a fee into it going forward. But that's a little opposite of what Mike was saying. Mike was saying we shouldn't hurt the ones that have been real good clients. Whereas you're saying there's gonna be a fee for everyone going forward that's gonna cover the bad clients.
Well, I mean, I'm saying your existing projects right now. If you say, for instance, you adopted this policy for $1,000 annual fee, I think right now, if we sent a letter to all the current projects, some of them might say, well, I already have an agreement with you. I never knew this was not disclosed to me. You can't just suddenly throw this fee at me. Going forward, you would put that in your fee schedule, your application. It would be in all the closing documents, and so new companies would be aware of that fee going
I got
forward.
that part.
Some companies might say, oh, okay, fine, I'll apply. You have a new, I'll go along with it.
I get that, but is this an all or nothing case? Because I just want to.
You just want to penalize the bad
hurt
behavior.
People, and I want to hit the people that have bad behavior.
Yep.
But I don't see this as a penalty. I see this as paying for our administrative costs on an annual basis.
But like,
I don't see this as a penalty.
yeah, but like Mike said originally, this is, you're paying for your costs and the fees up front to begin with.
So let me put it to you this way. If we just have to send one bill to Jack Kelly and he pays, I don't see why it should be $1,000 fee. This is what I'm saying. If it's somebody that Ally has to make 4 phone calls and 5 letters, yeah, I want to penalize them. That's where I'm coming from. Maybe I'm too.
And do you want that a flat fee, or do you want it a percentage of the total?
I want $250 for every time she has to write another letter. So if it takes 4 times, I get $1,000. After a while, they'll catch on.
That's something that, yeah.
After a while, they catch on.
Maybe
I kind of like that.
maybe I think too private input. I mean, as a private business, that's how I would.
You know, if you get it right the first time, always there's no charge. But if I got to write another letter every time I write another letter, it's another $250.
That would be my dream.
That's kind of what I
It's a happy
heard.
dream,
So
I'm in a happy place. I got a blanket and a teddy, and I'm smiling.
He's been
I
on
can't
the
do
project.
I would have been a lot better if we brought donuts,
But then
damn
you're
it.
gonna, I mean, that's gonna complicate matters, because then you're gonna have to set some criteria. How often can she send a letter? Can she send one every day?
Yes.
Charge $250 every
If there's,
day?
because she can do that if they're that much of a pain.
You know, like,
I mean, I
I
wouldn't
mean,
want
you're
to
gonna
do
have to set
that.
criteria. To be honest, I think that sounds like more administrative work for Ally to keep track of.
It would be less in the long run than once they caught on.
I could see within the agreement that we have within company, that part of the agreement is if the IDA has to go above and beyond to get what you have agreed to do, there will be a fee, and the fee will be stated, and it'll say $300. And it covers not just every time, but just a flash, so that people are aware that, gosh, if we do not ante up when we're supposed to,
If you
or
can't
when
get it
we're
right,
supposed to, we
it's
will
gonna
get
cost
a
you.
bill from the IDA, and it's right up front. And let bygones be bygones, past agreements are past agreements.
Sure.
And we go forward. Past agreements through attrition will go away, and we will then have a portfolio of the new agreements that cover these costs.
We'll try and work on some language for that. Okay?
That's good. That'll come back to the executive board before we go take it to the full board again. Is that where we'll go with that? Would be the
Sounds good.
smart thing, I think.
We have time because we're really.
Right. I think that would come back to us to finalize before we take it to the full board again.
We got time.
Yep.
Okay.
You still with us, Nick?
Bridge insurance.
I'm not,
He's here.
Bridge insurance. So we got the liability insurance done. It's not who's on Zoom, it's also who's watching on YouTube.
Gotcha.
There's
So,
2 people watching on YouTube right now.
so bridge insurance. We have the liability insurance for the road. We found that, got the bill for it. The other thing came up is, do we want to insure the bridge? The base price of the bridge is, the quote I got was $8,000. However, that does not cover the 2 things that are most important: flood and earthquake. And the quote I had from the insurance guy, if you wanted to add those 2 things, you're gonna go skyrocketing on the fee. So the question is do we want to insure the bridge or not?
What does it cover? Doesn't it cover the 2 that are important, so what does it cover?
If the earth shakes, it
No,
falls down,
that's an earthquake.
that's not covered. Okay? Anyone who hits the bridge, it's covered by their insurance.
So it doesn't need our insurance anyway.
That doesn't need our insurance. The
So what
question
does
would be,
it cover?
the question would be is if someone hit it and they didn't have insurance, what would happen? We're covered for liability on it. Liability's all covered. So if someone sued us because they had an accident on there, liability's covered.
Liability's already covered, or we need?
Liability's covered. We have liability and we have umbrella policy also.
Okay, so how about what changes when we replace the bridge? Are we still insuring it for all these things? I'm trying to get the big picture now.
Still wouldn't be covered by
Right.
flood or earthquake.
And if it's not covered, I see it as a waste of money if not.
Well, that was my thought, but I wanted to bring it to the board because I don't think I should make that decision.
I mean, if you go 3 years at $8,000, you got 24,000 you saved to fix the bridge anyway.
Yeah.
So as long as they don't hit it more than once every 3 years and not very hard, you're probably safer to be without it.
So the board concurs not to do bridge insurance. Okay? Is that what I take out of this?
Yeah, I can't see a
If the things aren't
risk
covered,
return on it.
yeah, that's a little tough one.
Okay.
What do you think, Mike? Do you see it that way, or do you see it differently?
I'm just not clear on what the policy is for $8,000, so I
It doesn't sound like it covers
I
anything.
can't speak to it.
That's,
I think the only situation, it was mentioned by the chairman that if it was an uninsured motorist, or even if it's an insured motorist, do you need to take and fix the bridge and pay for it being fixed prior to the other insurance company is contesting?
Mhm.
And you are running into a situation here to remind you that this is the umbilical cord that this particular company is making a decision to come here because there is a complete. So I agree, you've got to determine your risk avoidance, but
Yeah,
is there a smaller policy or a smaller dollar amount that you can possibly get?
I can ask.
probably does smaller things
I
though
just think
too.
it's the, I can ask.
Dave, how, is there any coverage on it?
Liability.
Right. Who, what, well, I'm not understanding. How
So
is
if someone hits the bridge,
No, I get that part.
if someone sues us
Uh-huh.
because they got hurt on the bridge.
Yeah.
Didn't affect the bridge at all.
Mm-hmm.
They fell down and hit their head and they sue us.
Mm-hmm.
Liability is covered.
And if the bridge falls in water,
But I don't understand how that's covered.
Covered by our liability insurance.
Oh, our overall
Liability
liability.
insurance
Thank you,
covers
sir.
that. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
even if it falls in the
Physical
water, we're
damage
covered.
to the bridge
Mhm.
that we're talking about.
I got it. I just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
where the liability coverage is coming from. Thank you.
It's overall umbrella and on the liability. That, the bridge is covered by that.
Thank you. The bridge is in Kingsbury.
Yes.
Yes.
Doesn't matter where it is.
I don't know. I was wondering if that's why it came up, is because it was in Kingsbury versus Fort Edward.
It doesn't matter where it is. Yeah.
That's why it came up. So,
In the road.
so we're in agreement with this, or? As long as they have the liability covered, we're all set?
And we can revisit when, if we have more information about it.
Okay. Okay. All set? Anything else come before the board, the committee? Motion to adjourn?
Do we adjourn or do
We fully adjourn.
we don't?
We'll adjourn. We can go.
Okay, we don't have to make a motion to go to, okay.
No.
Oh, motion to adjourn.
Stein, second by Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
Okay, so now we
Call the
remove,
Call the CDC Executive Governance Committee meeting to order. I need to
Mr.
approve it.
Chairman,
Yes.
if you would be more comfortable if I'm not here, I'll be glad to go
As long-
sleep somewhere else.
Go to sleep someplace else, okay.
I think we're just gonna get rid of
We're just gonna get rid of YouTube.
after this meeting.
Yeah, I need to approve it, so I got a motion, a second on the approval of the minutes. All in favor? Carried.
Who made the motion? I'm sorry.
Brian did and Mike.
For the
It's
CDC
Probably gotta be
minutes?
Mike and Dave again.
Yeah.
It's gotta be
Okay,
Mike and
Mike and
Dave
Dave.
again, cause you were there.
Sorry,
I
right.
make a motion to accept the CDC minutes from the last meeting.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Old business? New business?
Aye.
Move to adjourn,
Aye.
second by
Me.
Aye.
Mr. Biddle. All in favor?
Aye.
So that terminates, we'll go into attorney-client privilege. Could you please turn off YouTube?
You know, this didn't work at the Granville Board of Education, right? And they went to executive session and YouTube kept playing and they